Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babashoff, and if you're new here, welcome. A show dedicated to all things to improve your life through liberty and independence, exploring alternatives to the daily grind, moving from surviving to thriving and living life raw. Today is should we be concerned about our wants and our needs? Could we be destroying ourselves and suppressing ourselves through our wants? I think a lot of us don't really realize. I want to jump into the tactic of sales because that's part of my business. That's it. That's what I do. And one of the things you'll learn in business is you never want to cater to someone's needs. What it comes down to is, what do you want? What do people want? For instance, when I sell a construction job, somebody has a problem and they need it fixed. That's what they need. But what they want is a whole different thing. I know it may sound confusing, but follow me. They may want price to be, they may have a budget. They may want a certain type of product. They may want a timeline. You got to extract from the customer of what they want, and you want to cater to that. The problem in sales is you find out that many people will go like a sales call, and they're constantly catering to what the person needs and telling a lot about themselves. And that's one of the tactics I look at to better myself this year, is to do a lot more listening. And this coincides with us personally of what we want too. They get there and they're hammering in how great they are, how they can get what the person needs done, but they're not asking the right fucking question or listening for the answer of what is it how do these people want it? And that's when you have to learn to shut your mouth. You get a problem, you know what it is, let's agitate it and get it all out in the open. And we both agree there's a problem. And then you got to start sneakily kind of coming in. This is not conniving and taking advantage of somebody. It's just extracting from them what they want. There's plenty of fucking scoundrel wolves out there that no means yes. When they close the door on your face or something, you're supposed to put your foot in the door and demand it. Fucking bullshit in my book. I have plenty of success with what I've been doing. But do you see? Commercials know this. They know what you want. They make the beer. Oh, and they got me by the balls with this one. The light shining through it, just fucking perfect. The bubbles are coming up. The foam's just a little bit too. Not just like the nipple of it. It's, just a nip. We're just going to show you that little bit. It just falls down the side of the glass. The outer part's sweating. There's a bunch of happy, good-looking people on there. You're like, yeah, man, it caters to what you want, not necessarily what you need. If you guys don't believe me, I posted this on Facebook, is when's the last time you sacrificed things that you needed in order to get what you wanted? I've done it myself where I'd eat rice and beans, for a week to save up to buy a skateboard, in my younger years, eating unhealthy and treating myself like shit so I can get that thing. So ask yourself that question, and then let's move forward to actually the opposite polarities of our human psyche. Of just as much as we want something, we actually don't want it. And I think this is a very powerful secret thing that we need to learn, the dialogue inside of our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, and figure out what the fuck is going on. The best example I can give you is like, I play the lottery every once in a while and I want to win, right? I definitely want to win the fucking lottery. And then I think to myself in the back of my head, what if I end up like a lot of those other people end up dead? All their friends hate them. They lost their family members all because of money, So as much as I'd want it, then there's little dialogues that come in my mind of, you don't deserve it. Whoa, hold on, wait a minute here. What's going on? This is an exercise that I, expanding your consciousness and things like that in your mind frame, that I think I did a podcast on. But it goes like this, is you just sit down and close your eyes and you ask yourself, what would one need in order to believe feeling, say, depression, or what would one need in order to feel anxiety? And the first thing that comes up to your head, this is the dialogue. You just let it go. You don't worry, you're not going to go crazy. I'm still here, right? I'm still semi-normal. But it's interesting to listen to these things that come up. And the word is very powerful. I just heard from Kiyosaki today. I was watching a show and he was quoting something from the Bible. I'm not religious, and neither is he claims. But the word will become flesh. And what does that mean? That to me, the power of belief, which is a podcast coming up, is super, super powerful. If you don't believe me, take a look at some science where people give angry thoughts towards water. They play hard, ugly music, and then they flash freeze the water in little droplets and look at the ice crystals. And the ice crystals are different every single time, consistently, with positive, good music. They're bright, shining like these like stars. You know, a snowflake, if you ever seen one, it's got all those long, intricate, like angel wing feathers off of it. That's what it looks like. And every time they would do something like expose it to Hitler speaking or this dark, depressing heavy metal music, it would just be this gray, weird looking thing. So it's very powerful of what the mind frame is. And how are we supposed to get what we want when we have these thoughts in the background manifesting? I'm going on a limb. I'm probably going to lose a lot of my listeners over it, but I think it's something that needs to be said, you know? And if it makes sense to you, just follow me through here. There's another guy named Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief. I don't want to dump too much on you guys, but he's done some amazing, amazing work. And some of these people have scientific proof that water holds memory, and it all comes from the power, that's suggestingly coming from the power of belief. It is said in science that physical harm by punching somebody in the face is way less damaging to the body than somebody constantly yelling at you. The internal damage to the organs and things from just having verbal abuse can do far more damage. So I think I beat that one up. I don't want to go too crazy on you guys. I got to butter you up first before we open up that whole fucking can. Yeah, our opposite polarities are very interesting. And I think we need to understand that dialogue. We have to understand this concept. I kind of see this thing it's like a motor, right? And we start learning the components, like our power of our belief will actually manifest our physical experience, you know? And all these different components, all these different things, you start to put them together, and next thing you know, like a puzzle, they start to fit together. And then you kind of get to understand the mechanics of this. Then you can get to the bottom of it, and you can find out exercises or formulate a way to get out of it and fix it. And that's what I hope that I believe that this show is going to be for you guys. So stick with this, man. I'm going to try to get you guys a show 5 days a week for as long as I can. It may end in October when I go back to work, or whenever I decide to go back to work, if I can go back to work, which is a whole nother story, but I'm not going to bring that up today. And I also want to get you guys ready. The audio is not that great. I'm going to have to broadcast live from my F350 diesel 97 7.3 liter truck. It's one of the biggest and loudest trucks, but I've got a shotgun mic thing with what do they call it, a dead cat, so it should help. So my question, I think, to you guys and myself has been, do we deserve to work so hard for these things that we want? Could that be what's draining us? All that money, all that time for something that you want. And don't get me wrong, I think a lot of things that I want in my life that I've gotten, is gotten even a word? Am I getting redneck on you? I got gotten. That's my no school vocabulary. Some of the things I've got have been really wonderful. I've got a nice surfboard, a new fishing reel, and a nice good guitar. These things are great and all, but do I absolutely need them? And how do they improve my life? I, for one, think that music is one of the best things on the planet. Very healing. It's an art thing that very therapeutic. So I think there's a line between these things. But if we're working so hard and we're stuck at something that we hate, I think we need to transition over with our mentalities that I was speaking earlier about and start focusing more on what we just absolutely need. And let's talk about that for a second. What would a need life only look like? It's basically, I'm actually living a need-ish. There's a big old ISH at the end. Ish life, and have been for a very long time. And as in my podcast, you guys know, I think it's ruined my relationship. And very sad to say that I think it's ruining my relationship with my daughter. My oldest is 13 years old, and she's moving out actually in the next couple of days. And that's kind of why I'm probably not really on point. I think I got a podcast that's kind of including some information on there, but I'm very sad, and I don't know what to do about that area, but I want to stay on point. But what does the need-only life look like? Well, it's just how it sounds. You just buy the things that you need. Like me, people think I'm poor, but I've made lots of money, and I have basically only the things I need. Do I need to go to JCPenney or the mall and buy brand new clothes every time? No. There's brand new clothes at the thrift stores. Goodwill's got Dickies pants, which is one of my favorites. Normally they retail, I think, at like $38 for a pair of pants. I get them for like $6 to $8. Some of them still have the tag on them. And I learned too a trick. Dickies are great pants. I've been wearing them for like decades now. And the nice thing is when you wear them long enough, They actually get really soft, like silk almost. But the way you can find them if you are shopping at a thrift store is you just thumb through the top. They're the only belt loop that's about 1.5 inches wide. Then you just keep sifting through, and then you can find your size. Thrift store tip. But you guys, that's basically what it looks like is you just get just what you need. I guess I should finish on what does it look like. I drive, as I said earlier, a 96 pickup truck. Not quite the chick magnet, man. Not quite, especially it did look kind of cool when it had the big dick tires on it. You know, those big mud. The guy I bought it from was a surfer guy in San Clemente, and he had these really cool mud tires on it, sucking the fucking gas tank dry. And now they call them pizza cutters, I guess. They're just narrow tires. I think they look fine, but I heard some people say, dude, your truck looks dorky. Well, it matches its owner. But yeah, this truck does so many things for me, and I've explained that in my Stacking Functions podcast. I live in a trailer. I eat simple foods. And you know what? We sacrifice a lot. And obviously that's been bothering my daughter. We don't go to the movies. I'll wait till things come on DVD or Netflix and we'll watch it here at home. Especially nice because you have popcorn and beer. Then you have to piss every fucking 10 minutes and pause the fucking movie though. I like things. Actually, I just want to say I used to do dirtbag cinema is what it's called. And what we do is we light a fire in the backyard, and I used to have sofas out there. We'd find some free sofas. I live in a place where there's rich people, so I mean you find really cool shit. But we just line circles of sofas around the fire, and then if you position them right and bring the TV out there, a little big screen or projector, and we'd call it dirtbag cinemas. You know, you could just sit and eat some peanuts and stuff and throw your seeds around and watch your movie outside under the stars. It was really brilliant. But those are the things that a need lifestyle, that's what it looks like. And it feels so much more fulfilling. And again, it's not for everyone, just like my daughter, but it's something that you have to think about. If you want to get out of the rat race, if you want to get out of what you hate doing, your job and everything, you got to start considering a need-only lifestyle. This is a key, man, to there's lots of components, as I said earlier, to the whole thing, but it's definitely a big key. All right, I'm going to move on to, I want to just tell you guys, it's like a gift to your future self. I'm going overboard on this podcast. I'm trying to keep these podcasts down to 10 minutes for you guys. I don't know if I can do it, man. I'm such a blabbermouth. One of the keys I want to say is that it's a gift to your future self. The things you do now, even though you don't see it, in your future, you're going to look back and go, thank you, past self. And what do I mean by that? By saving money, living simple, having those times, those connections that you have that are the memories that money can't buy. Those are the things that make you feel good. When you're sad and down and you look for something to make you feel good, like, well, what's been good in my life, you know, and then you start laughing and thinking, God, that was so nice when we were just drinking beer under the stars with the fire, doing dirtbag cinemas and playing guitar and fixing yourself. Like for me to have these early retirement or these mini retirements, it's definitely been beautiful. And I have to thank my past self from working so hard, so fucking hard to design. And when everybody was talking shit about me and dumping on me and disrespecting and not understanding, and then sometimes me going through it and going, what the fuck am I doing, man? I feel like a fucking madman. Well, I still feel like a madman, but at least I could sit home while everybody's working and wonder, am I really a madman? But yeah, it's definitely wonderful, you guys. And we are not stuck. We are not stuck at all. One thing I want to tell you guys, it's a question. Are you here because you have to be? Or are you here because you want to be? And I'm going to answer that fucking question. We're all here because we want to be. Nobody's holding a gun to anybody's head, forcing people to do shit. It's our decision if we're going to live in the rat race and the daily grind. Okay? If that's what we want, then we're going to do it. It's not, the world is not happening to you. It's happening to you because you're allowing it. You can make changes, and that's what this show is all about. We don't have to live this way, you guys. And I want to tell you guys, by all the sacrifices that you would you hear me talking about, you know what? I want to tell you one is like, I went and got sushi like every weekend in past couple, like years past. And after a while, it all started to taste the same. And when you live a needs life only, and you go back to a want every once in a while, that sushi tastes like the best fucking thing you've ever had on the goddamn fucking planet, man. So we're bombarded with our senses, I think, on everything, and we become numb to ourselves and to everything. And I think this is something you guys might want to definitely consider. Stop, drop, and roll, man. My experience in all this is I'm getting more freedom. I'm getting more peace of mind. Yes, it looks like I may be losing another family member over it, but that's the lifestyle we have to choose. And I think this is what's happening, you guys, is just like with my daughter, we have different types of people, but it goes really big. And do you want to work really hard to get off the wheel and live a life of freedom? Or do you want to work really hard and get things that pertains to your wants and waste all your money and stay in this position? And there's an awful lot of us. I'm not talking about the rich, and I'm not talking about the disabled and poor people, us basically us middle class to the lower end of the spectrum where we're poor, kind of middle class. If you want to stay there, that's fine. But if you want to get out, we have to make these realizations. Everything that this show pertains to is helping you guys get out of it. And I'm going on, well, we're already on 18 minutes. I wish I could just go, man. But you guys, if you like this sort of thing, check me out on the Facebook. It's up and in it. Everything is up and in it. The Facebook's private. Ask to join. I'll accept you there. I'll open up the door and I'll leave the light on for you. Instagram, where I post every single day. I try to do it 7 days a week there to kind of give you guys an idea, proof that I'm on my mini retirement, and just kind of show you guys around the backstage, I guess you would call it, behind the curtain. There's Spotify and the Apple iTunes, YouTube. So you guys, I hope this message finds you well. Live it, love it, own it, don't lose your muchness, and bone it.